Hello, everybody. Get a proper clap in there. There we go. Welcome to another episode of the Uncanny Spirits Club. Let me adjust my camera a little bit so I'm not just like talking down here. Yeah, it's a bit windy outside. It looks like it's daylight, but it's not. It's just my porch light. It's late, but it's stormy, so I'm hoping that the internet doesn't cut out. I've got 5G on the tablet here, so I should be able to keep going, but I don't know how the quality will go if it has to switch over. But anyway, welcome. I have something different that I was kind of surprised I hadn't reviewed yet, and I'm not sure I've actually had it before. I've had a lot of things by these distillers, but I have not had this particular one. I don't think. If I have, I don't remember it. So this is Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye. Now this is 90 proof, which is higher than most of Crown Royal that you get. And yeah, it's interesting. I don't do enough Canadian whiskeys, I don't think, on the channel, so we're gonna try that. As per usual, you get a nice cloth bag from Crown Royal that you can save and use for whatever. Relatively nice bottle. All right. Now this was, pardon me, got something in my nose. Something in my nose there. Anyway, it's gonna bug me because now it's gonna be itchy. I was outside earlier and I got some pollen in there or something, and it's been driving me nuts. This was $27.99 at my local grocery store. Crown Royal is usually generally pretty affordable. It is not often too far outside of the budget. They don't have an easy open on these though, so it's a bit difficult to get into. This is going to be a screw top rather than a cork. I can tell because that's usually what Crown does, because they're usually lower priced. And generally, if you're under a certain price point, you're generally not a cork, you're generally a screw top. Not in every case, but just generally speaking. So, yep, screw top. Plastic screw top. Smells a little rye. Smells a little rye. So let's give that a pour, shall we? It's about the same color as most Crown Royals that I've tried. Bit lighter appearing because generally the Canadian whiskeys are a little bit lighter, not as lighter as say an Irish whiskey in appearance. And that's in general. That's not every single case. I don't want to stereotype any of these. But again, this is also a bit stronger than most other Crown Royal. Usually the Crown Royal that I've tried, the regular and the various other kinds, are 90 proof. They're not usually, or 90 proof, are usually 80 proof, not 90 proof. But this one is 90 proof, so I'm hoping, combined with the rye, that it has a little bit of a kick. Put that back in the box there. All right, so I've got that in my glass, and let's see how that treats us. Tastes a little bit like bubble gum. I know it's a weird thing to say about a rye whiskey, but that's what I'm getting. That straight pink bubblegum flavor that you get off of just basic stock bubblegum that isn't flavored like any other else. It's not like with the mint or the fruit. It's just bubblegum flavored gum. and it lingers in the mouth a bit. It has some heat though. You can feel that the 90 proof is definitely pushing the envelope on what the Crown Royal usually has. And it's not as syrupy as usually it is. It is a bit sweet, which is another thing that Crown Royal usually is. It's tend to be sweeter because it's all blended whiskey. It's not usually, you don't get single malts generally in Crown Royal. But bubblegum on that first taste. And a lot of heat. That heat slowly settled down into the chest, and now it's just kind of like hanging out in there. Maybe a little bit of ginger, maybe some ginger from the rye spice, but not like other ryes. I don't know if I'm really digging it or not. It might be something I'll want to mix, but it is interesting. It is interesting. Let me try another taste now that the taste buds have adjusted a little bit and the palate has moved in a certain direction. A little bit less of that bubblegum taste on the second, but that still is the primary. That's what I'm identifying this with, bubblegum. And the heat on the second one hit a bit harder. This would be something that would give me some heartburn. I can already feel it. Crown Royal usually doesn't do that. It's usually very, very mild in comparison to a lot of the other things that I've had. But this one, because of the higher proof, I think is doing some funny things to it. Bubblegum, though, that's what I'm getting. And it's weird. Not as strong on the second time around, though. So I think as you continue to drink this, the sweet part of that would slowly go away, and you wouldn't get as much of that pink flavor. But it's not as pleasant as a regular rye, kind of spicy rye taste. Because it tastes like there's something off. Like it tastes like with that initial bubblegum taste. I don't know. It might have biased me against it a little bit. Although the second one, just other than the heat in the chest, the second one is a bit tastier than the first taste. So I think as you go on, and I'm starting to get a lot more numbness on the tongue. So some of those taste buds are shutting down in favor of other taste buds, which you get with different spirits and things, depending on how they affect your palate. And so that might have something to do with how the taste is changing now. That's why I always want to take two tastes of it, an initial to get my first thoughts about it, and then a second as those taste buds have started to adjust to what you just put on them, because it's going to taste different generally the second time around. It's not usually going to be the exact same thing. Sometimes it is, that's very rare. But a lot of times your taste buds, some of them will get numbed and will decide they don't want to do the same thing that they did just a few minutes before. And so other parts of your palate will have a dominant taste um, sensation. So interesting. I don't outright dislike it. That bubblegum thing is weird, but it wasn't super sweet, so it's not bothering me to the point that I'm kind of like, but I'm not sure if this is something that I would pick if I was looking for a good rye whiskey. It's okay. For the price, I mean, I don't know. There's not a lot of really solid rye whiskeys that I've found for around this price. Usually the good ryes have been more expensive by quite a bit, usually between the 50 and the 90 range. It's a big range, but that's usually where the better ryes have been for me. Um, at $28, I mean, you can't really pass it up, but it's not something that I think I'll be getting often. It's just the taste is off. and it is going to give me heartburn. It is going to give me heartburn. And only 90 proof, which is kind of a shame. Usually I would expect something up in the hundreds and higher to hit me hard in the chest, but at 90 proof, this is kind of like there's a lot going on, and it's unfortunate because the taste is decent, but it doesn't make up for that. But it is interesting, and it is different from standard Crown Royal. I was worried that it was going to taste just like regular Crown with like some added spice, and it does taste different. I like that it's not as sweet, and I'll give this one I'll give this one a fair try. I'll go through the bottle a little bit more um, before I decide if I want to mix it or something like that and see how this goes, because that's fair. So $27.99 at my local grocery store here in Ohio. Once again, that was the Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye, and it is 90 proof as opposed to 80 as their usual goes. And yeah, so that's what we've got. Let me know what you think about this, if you've had it before or if you're looking to try it. Tell me what you think. Tell me how you feel. I will see you next time. And as always, of course,